What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Mechanic Motorsports. And as you guessed it, today we're back on the Sierra. We're hoping to get the power steering, Y pipe, and some of the electrical wrapped up today. If you got any questions on any of this stuff, guys, throw it down there in the comments. I'll do my best to answer it for you. Thank you for watching again. Let's get back into the action. All right, guys, we're going to jump into some of this wiring, a couple of the other little notable items here. This is going to be your vacuum coming off the back of your manifold for your brake booster. That's simply going to push in. Again, this is if you have the brake booster style brakes and not the hydro boost. Another very notable item that you're going to want to make sure that you get properly secured, grounding strap that comes off the back of the driver's side head. All right, I'll never see that again. Once we find that, we'll get that put in and torqued down properly. I've also got the lines. This is going to be your basically all your lines going to your transmission, speed sensor, O2s on the bank one, which is the driver's side. That's all going to be routed down the firewall. We'll get all that put back into place here shortly, and then just start knocking out a few items. A couple things I did take off while we were putting the engine in. Took the EVAP solenoid off so it didn't get broken, and the map sensor in the back is not there. Those things are really prone to getting tore up, especially the map sensor. When you get in this area, it starts to get a little tight. So just be careful of that. You may just want to pull those preemptively and not have to buy another one if you break it. So like I said, we're just going to start plugging away at some of this stuff. This goes up here to your EVAP solenoid. Still got to get the alternator in. Once we get the alternator in, there's no reason that we can't get the drive belt on. This motor does have two different belts. One will be used for the AC compressor, which probably not going to have functional at first startup. So we'll leave that belt off. I'll go ahead and get the main drive belt on for the water pump and the power steering alternator. Get all that put on. Just making progress. This is the fun part of it. Everything's going back together, getting torqued back down for the final time, and getting ready for that first startup. That's what I'm ready to hear this thing. All right, we're getting the header in there. We did go with the MLS gaskets instead of just the regular old Velcro gasket or something like that. I have those. The Speed Engineering header did come with its a set of gaskets. See if I can grab that real quick. It came with this style gasket. Hopefully you can see that. And you know, it's okay. But we went ahead and saved a few extra dollars, upgraded those to the MLS, kind of like your head gasket. So hopefully we'll be happy with that. No leaks, none of that kind of stuff. So we'll get this hardware installed, get it snugged up, and move on from there. All right, guys, headers are in, looking good. We'll get all this wire put back in its location. Next thing we need to do for exhaust purposes is get our Y pipe back into place. Like I said earlier, we had the transmission mount, our transmission cross member temporarily bolted in. So we'll get that loosened back up, pulled out of the way when we get to there, and drop it down. Get the Y pipe back up in there. Get our new hardware, our new gaskets with the collectors. That would wrap up the header installation, Y pipe installation. Only other exhaust connection we're going to need to make would be the collector, or the each bank come together. It goes into the single pipe, go back to the muffler. We're going to tackle that later on. Not a big rush on that. That's 2 bolts, super simple. I'll knock that out. But we're coming along, getting there slowly. Again, I'm not in a real big hurry. Trying to make sure things are done the right way. We don't have any issues later on. Have to backtrack, redo a bunch of stuff for no reason other than just simply rushing. So we're not gonna do that. All right, guys, we got the shorties in, Speed Engineering. Really good product. As I mentioned before, we use the ARP 12-point hardware. That's going to be a 10 millimeter 12-point. Got those in. See if I can get you a better view. Again, we didn't want to do the full exhaust system right now, so we just went with the shorty that got us a little bit better, probably minimal performance gains over stock, but the stock manifolds with the stock hardware tend to always give you broken header bolts into the header. We didn't want that, so for $189 we spent, went ahead and got the shorties. Again, man, I'm pretty impressed with the quality, so we're hoping those do well for us for a little while until we get ready to do the full exhaust. But now the next thing would be getting that transmission cross member loosened back up. Like I said, we had it temporarily put in place, getting that put back in so that we can go down there, get our new collector hardware and gaskets, get all that mated up. That would be the extent of the exhaust work for now, other than bolting the 2 bolts up that go back to the muffler where your collector or your bank 1, bank 2 come together at the collector. That's super easy. We'll do that later next time we crawl back under there. Just as a quick note, we're going to reinstall the V6 alternator. It is the same one I did verify with another V8 that I have sitting here. They're the exact same alternator. I took the V6 alternator off while I had it, and then I went ahead and put the spare V8 one I had on there just to verify, even though they're exactly the same. Just wanted to verify they were actually good, so I could get rid of it if I don't ever use it. So it ran fine for a solid week, no issues whatsoever, no charging, no lights, none of that. So anyway, we're gonna get ready to put the original V6 AC Delco back on there, get it put back in place. One thing I will say about GM, they made some of this stuff super simple. It's going to be, you're going to have 2 15 millimeters that go in like this. You've got a 10 millimeter connection right here off the back of the alternator. And if I can find my plug, you're going to have a single plug that goes into the top of the alternator. And that is your basic alternator installation. Even if you were just doing that on its own, it would literally just take a few minutes. All right, guys, we're gonna get this alternator put in real quick, get that knocked out. One less thing on the list. Again, just 2 15 millimeters. Maybe a little tight getting in there. If you just kind of work with it, maybe get you a mallet and get it bumped on there. We'll get our wire up out of the way so we don't pinch anything with that. Set up out of the way. We'll get this thing worked down into place. She's a little tight. Let me go ahead and get my little mallet. All right, let's see if we can persuade her to go in. I guess I should have cleaned those bolts up a little bit. They don't look so great, but we're not going to win any shows, let's be honest here. So what we are going to do is make sure it's right and tight. Let's see, sometimes you can work with these, get these to walk themselves in. Got it started a little bit better. There we go, now we're talking. All right, that's 1. That's 2. This little tool right here, guys, is Milwaukee. Now, this isn't the professional version. This is just the M12 ratcheting wrench. I think the fuel one is the more professional style. That right there is a wrist saver and saves you a lot of time. Not necessarily the fastest tool. Again, the pro version is a little bit better and much faster, but it is a lifesaver. Because, man, you can get that thing in some pretty good spots and save yourself a lot of heartache with sitting there using a regular ratchet, which there's a time and place for regular ratchets, and there's a time and place for some mechanical advantage or assistance, I should say that. And this would be a good spot for that. So we're going to go ahead and make this electrical connection right there. Again, just a single plug. The other plug, again, I talked about earlier, going to the EVAP. We'll get that put in here in just a second. We got our 10 millimeter wrench right here. We'll get that backed off of there. So hopefully we don't lose it. All right, we got that off of there. This right here can be kind of a pain, guys. This little boot. It gets down in there and it don't like to cooperate. So if you can kind of dig it out of there, get it pushed up on there. Again, make sure all your electrical connections are clean. I went ahead and did all that a long time ago when I reloomed and made sure this harness was good. This harness did not come with the motor. I had to source that separately. So anyway, I went through the whole thing. I mean, wire by wire pretty much, cleaned everything up. Got it all squared away, made it look a little better. I mean, it ain't perfect, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot better than it was. It was completely filthy, so it took me a couple hours. Like I said, I went through everything, kind of taped everything up, got it squared away. But that's going to be it for the alternator, other than putting our belt on. And at this point, we can put our belt on. One thing we will have to do before we get too far here is go ahead and make our power steering connections before we get anything else buttoned up in this area. So we'll do that. Put that on our list. I'm gonna go ahead and get this EVAP solenoid, if I can find it here, get it put back in place. All right, guys, to get this line off of here, you got this little white clip right there. You push in one way, kind of push down on it. It just holds on that little ear right there. And that pops right off. So again, we got a little work to do on this line. Either that or we're just going to buy a replacement. I need to put that on the list if I'm going to go ahead and do that. That way it's coming. All new gaskets, all new EVAP solenoid, purge solenoid. So we're not, hopefully we're saving ourselves some issues with go ahead and replacing all this stuff. Again, I had some of this stuff. It was used. Lord knows how long or old it is. Again, I don't want to take the chance on that. So went ahead and had the time to do it, kind of piece stuff together little by little. So that's what we did. If you're looking to just get something thrown in there and just have a V8, this is probably not the route you would go. So this is going to be more for this guy that's got a little bit of time, wants his stuff to be a little clean, as reliable as possible. Don't get crazy with that. Again, you're just holding in a little solenoid. It's nothing crazy. We'll go ahead and make that connection. So that connection is made. I'll kind of get our wires dressed into place where they're not poking out and causing all kinds of issues, getting hung up on anything else. So that's in. Again, we'll address this line. This line is going to go through here. It's going to snake back kind of right between your intake and your fuel rail. And it'll go back to the EVAP line that you've seen us talking about a while back whenever I was making that fuel line modification. It's going to go back there. Again, I just kind of got the fuel line sitting up here, so that's not a big deal. We'll address that later on, but we will get this put into place, get that taken care of before we start it up. Just as I go through here, I'm just kind of making sure that anything else that needs to be addressed or installed is done. I can go ahead and put those plug wires on. We can do that real quick. That's not a hard one, although they can kind of be a pain at times. let's see how these are going to do with the new headers. I did test fit all this stuff, guys, so everything was looking good. I'm on the fence of whether I'm going to need to get some of the little ceramic protectors that go on the your plug wires. Again, these are factory GM plug wires. I think they're about $58 for on Amazon, something like that. I had a couple pair of the other ones. Would they be okay? 90% chance they would be okay. Could I piece a set together? So where I had a good set of them, I probably could have. Was it worth chasing a misfire later on because of a bad plug wire or something like that? It wasn't to me. So here's where we're at. We're putting new plug wires on it. Maybe a little bit more now. Probably about 3/4 of an inch away from that header. I'll probably just go ahead and pick up some of those ceramic boots and put those over that way. I ain't got to worry about burning some wires. But the only one that gets close on the passenger side would be cylinder 6. Would be the third one back from the front. It's got about the same amount of distance, about 3/4 of an inch, something like that. So just FYI, if you're going to do that, you may want to go ahead and pick some of those up, unless you just want to risk it. So that's where we're at with that. All right, guys, we're going to bring you in here to the electrical box. This is one of the most easiest things there is to connect on these trucks. GM made this pretty awesome, just to say the least. So you're going to have a couple main connections in here. This one's going to be going to the bottom of the fuse block, just like that. 7mm in the middle. Make sure that's in there nice and square before you start really getting down on that thing there. You can see it kind of pops in. Pretty easy right there. We'll go ahead and just kind of snug that down. Don't get crazy with it. Remember, this stuff's just plastic. All right, so we got that connection made, 7mm done. All right, you got a couple other connectors under here. They make this super simple. So obviously this ain't gonna go to that, even though, look, it's pretty easy. One connector goes to one thing. It'll only go one way, right? So just take your time, make your connections properly, get them all dressed down in here so they don't give you any issues later on. You got plenty of room. Like I said, this is the part where you want to take a little bit of time to make sure that you're doing this the right way, so you don't have to come back and redo it. I do not like coming back and redoing stuff. I'd rather knock that out properly the first time and be done. So, all right, we got that one made. All right, pretty self-explanatory here, blue to blue. All right, that connection's made. We'll get it addressed over here to the side, get it out of the way. The other one I want to talk about right here is it's actually coming out of your harness, your main harness over here. I'm sorry if you can't see. Coming out of your main harness, this is going to go to your tack module. We talked earlier about how you're going to have two connections to that new tack module you're making. One's going to be the pedal, and that's going to be when it's on the firewall up there to the left-hand side. This is going to be your other connection. This is going to be the wires that go to your throttle body. This is going to go on the right-hand side. So what I want to do, I'll make that connection last. I want to get all this stuff in here, kind of in its place before I, like I said, make that last little bit of electrical connector made up there. Other than making your battery connections, some of that type of stuff, guys, that's going to be the majority of the electrical work on this truck, other than you're plugging sensors in here and there and everywhere. So this is the main electrical connection that comes across to your engine. So luckily it's plug and play for us. Moving right along here. There are going to be a couple plugs in here that we don't use. This was never plugged in from the factory. To be honest with you, I want to say it's for a brake controller. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me, but our truck doesn't have it, didn't come with it. We don't need it. So we're going to just kind of tuck that back out of the way where it ain't such an eyesore. We're going to get our main loom over here. Try to get this connected into the the clip. So that thing will be secure. We won't have to mess with it no more. It may take a little bit of work, but we're gonna get it. It's a big bundle of wires, so just take your time with it. Don't start ripping on stuff. It's one thing I cannot stand is get impatient, and I'm just as bad as everybody else. And sometimes getting impatient and getting a little frustrated, but we'll get it. So again, not in a big hurry. That's why I'm doing this. All right, guys, let's bring you back in to make this last tack module connection. Again, we talked about the one coming from the pedal. That's gonna be the one coming from the pedal. The other one we're gonna make is gonna be coming from the main harness. We're going to your throttle body. So this is gonna be the one on the right. So what we're gonna have to do is kind of pull down on this red tab a little bit. Just kind of back it off. Find that connection. Again, make sure you're making solid connections. You're not forcing something, because forcing it right here will cause you a lot of heartache if you bend some of those pins up in there. You're gonna have to uninstall a bunch of stuff. So anyway, we're gonna make that positive connection. Take our red clip, run it up, make sure it's good and solid on both of them, good and solid. And that concludes the tack module installation. So I have seen some stuff online, just FYI, where some people were having some issues, not in swap vehicles, but just regular vehicles, where they were constantly losing signal to the communication to the throttle body. And it turned out to be grounding. What they ended up doing was running some grounds from here, over to here, over to the block, to the battery, grounding that whole system. And that cleared up a bunch of tack module stuff. So just a little piece of information. If you're in that type of situation and you're looking for a little bit of help on that, it seems like looping all that into one big ground solved a lot of people's problems. So hopefully that'll help. All right, guys, this is what you're gonna be kind of looking at prior to putting your box back on. Tack module, again, is all the way in. Got that wire. We're gonna get our stud right there to put in the box for the power connection. We got to make a couple other miscellaneous connections, tidy up a few things, get in here and clean a couple things. But we're getting there, man. We got the now we got the harness tied to the motor, alternator in, headers are completely in, spark plugs are on, grounding straps on, EVAP is on, but we still got to get the new hose for that. I'll work on getting that. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. Next thing I need, a big one I need to do, is get that power steering done. All right, guys, it's been a couple days. We took a few days with the family, went on a little camping trip to the hill country. So we're back on the Sierra. Still got quite a bit to do. Kind of just threw the bumper back on here. It's not really doing anything. We're gonna get the Y pipe in. That's probably gonna be our biggest thing. Get our O2s plugged back in, transmission harness put back together. We'll take y'all under there for that. Hopefully the lighting doesn't get too bad. It's kind of late in the afternoon, so hopefully we'll get to some of that here shortly. All right, we were able to get our fuse box all put back together. Everything's looking good with that. Got everything kind of cleaned up, cap back on it. Just kind of got our lines laying here. This will be for the stereo. We'll get that figured out. Kind of get all this kind of dressed up, cleaned up. Went ahead and put our fan belt on while we had opportunity. Got one of the radiator hoses ready here. We're going to get ready to put on the reservoir, get that put in. We'll have to address the heater hoses back there in the back. But again, just wrapping up some plumbing, trying to get this thing ready to go. Also going to go ahead and get ready to put in the ECU. That was, again, tuned by Mr. Charlie Wheatley Performance Tuning here in Houston, Texas. All right, guys, I want to bring you along real quick for this ECU install. So
what you're going to be looking at here is, again, you're going to need the blue and green computer to go along with the blue and green harness. They're marked right here. If you can see that, it says blue. Hopefully you're in the screen there and you got some good lighting, because it looks like we're fixing to get hit with a bad thunderstorm. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make this quick. What you're going to do, get this green one in there first. Again, marked in the corresponding locations. We'll get that kind of firmly put in there, 7 millimeter to the back side. Again, you just want to make sure everything's good and straight there. You got a good positive connection. That way you don't bend any pins, any kind of thing crazy like that. Go ahead and seat that in there. Again, I didn't get crazy with that. That wrench makes it sound like it's really getting down on it a lot worse than it actually is. It's really not putting that much torque on it. These don't need a whole lot. Again, just make sure your orange gasket's in there so that you don't allow any kind of contaminants or water or anything in. Go ahead and get that seated in there, snugged in there. And all this is going to do is going to sit right here in this, putting that in there makes those wires a little bit stiffer, but it's just going to sit right there. It'll sit all in there. I'll get the cover for it. This thing's kind of relaxed now that it ain't been in there in a couple days. All right, got it seated in there real nice and tight. We'll get this clamp right here on the top, push down, clamped in, securely in. Now this is just a cover that goes over it. Nice and easy. Nothing really special here. Just snaps on. Covers up all our connections real good. And we're getting hit with a crazy storm. So I'm fixing to wrap this up. All right. ECU is installed. Hopefully you got that on camera. If not, I'll have to redo it. All right, guys, I'm back under the truck. So we got the transmission cross member out. Would go right in here. I got it temporarily supported by the jack. Went ahead and plugged in our one of our transmission plugs here on the driver's side of the transmission. Got our front O2 sensor, our bank one, sensor one, right there ready to go. Or the plug ready to go. This is the rear one. Coming over here to the passenger side of the transmission. Went ahead and got this plug plugged in. Also got the speed sensor plugged in. There is a little shield that goes right here. I go over there in the garage and pick that up and get that put back on. Next thing is going to be wrestling this Y pipe up in here and trying to get those manifold the collector bolts started. But we'll see if we can wrestle it into place. I'm kind of by myself at this point, so it may be a little bit of a chore, but we'll get it done. All right, guys, quick update. This is where we're at. We got our collectors buttoned up tight, both passenger and driver side. You're looking at the driver's side right here. O2 sensors are back in. If you're kind of wondering what we got going on right here, this is your stock O2 sensor for your upstream. We did keep the cat for now. Upstream, bank one, sensor one. This one is going to be, this is kind of a trial position. This is going to be our wideband. We bought an AEM X series, so this is a wideband. They recommend it coming off the upstream side of the catalytic converter if that's what you're running. So it is running at a good downhill angle. It is not, I guess it's got to be 10 degrees or more, kind of a downhill angle. So we've got that going. Just had them punch a hole and welding a new bung. Got that line kind of going up. It's going to go up. This is your connector right here. That's going to be the one going up to the gauge. We did run into a little bit of an issue on our, let's see here. See if I can get foot back around here. Our sensor two. So the harness I have has a plug like this. Okay. Hopefully that's focusing. The rear O2 sensors my truck had in it has the exact same plug. So I am needing to either swap out rear O2 sensors for the one that will go into the harness I have, or just turn the rear O2s off. So right now I've got them installed. I'm going to tie this up out of the way so that way I can at least get the truck up and running. I'll probably just disable them for the time being until I figure out exactly whether I want to turn them off and leave them off, or swap out the O2 sensors for the proper one. It's funny because the spare motor I have in the garage has the proper plug for this, but this particular one does not. It's a little bit. It's the same type of plug, but I need a male, and this is a female, so we'll figure that out. But I don't think it's going to keep us from getting it up and running. So anyway, quick update there. All the transmission stuff's plugged in. We'll get all this tidied up a little bit. So I think we are technically done, except for this O2 sensor situation. Like I said, we'll get that figured out. So anyway, just a quick look at what we got going on.
All right, one thing I wanted to notate real quick on the power steering. This is the V6 power steering pump. The swap motor I got doesn't have this line right here and with this connection for whatever reason. So I'm having to pull it off the V6 to make it work. So I'm going to pull this bottom one. I went ahead and drained the reservoir. I'm going to pull this line right here, this discharge line and high pressure line, so that we can get that on the truck, get it all cleaned up. One thing I want to show you real quick over here on this this other engine I have sitting here, just the difference you may find. Sorry about all the mess, but this is the that same discharge line right here. This particular one does not have the have that little threaded connection. It comes out here and just goes in. So that's a little bit different. You may run into that. Let me show you what I'm dealing with on the truck real quick. So this is what I got. This is the connection I need to make right there. You can see how that's a little bit different connection than what I have on that other spare motor sitting over there. So I'm going to pull that line off. We're going to get it connected back here in the back of the power steering pump, get our lines connected up, and that should be done. All right, guys, we made our power steering connection right here using the little hard line going from the V6 power steering pump. This goes down to our rack. The next line we got to connect is this just this low pressure side right here. We'll put that on there. That's coming from your cooler, as you can see right here. Sorry about the mess, but coming from the cooler. That'll complete our power steering connections, and that will be 100% wrapped up, ready to go, other than remounting the cooler whenever we put the front end back together. So we're getting there. All right, we're making our final power steering connection right there. Got that in. Shouldn't have no more issues with none of that. Make sure we're cleaned up. That way, in case we do, for some crazy reason, have a little bit of a leak, we'll know it, because that's nice and dry now. So, all right, power steering connections completed. All right, so we got two 13mm nuts right there to get the dryer or accumulator off, and one 10mm down here. It goes basically around this band clamp. You got your electrical connection right here. This thing will literally pull off. The V8 is going to use a different dryer accumulator. So we're going to put that on as soon as it comes in. It's coming in today. It shipped this morning, so we'll get it put on. I just had the bag over it just so we didn't get a bunch of moisture in there whenever I was pressure washing. But basically, that's all that's going to be for that. And then the other lines will be going right down in here, the suction and discharge lines of the compressor itself. The compressor is going to have its own belt. It's going to be driven by this little back groove back here. So it'll be driven off that. And it does have electrical connection right here, just in case you're looking for that. And there's one way down here in the back, right here. Actually, if you can kind of see it right there at the end of my finger. That's going to be your two electrical connections for the AC compressor. So, all right, guys, we got our accumulator up here. It's got a new gasket in it. We transferred over our
pressure switch. We're gonna go ahead and gently put this up there. We got a couple, or A13 millimeter. We got to get secured down on there. I waited to the very end before I took these caps off so we didn't saturate anything in that dryer. Next thing we'll do is we'll get the 13 put off on this one. I'm gonna make sure the seal looks good. Actually, I've got new seals. I'm gonna swap that out real quick, and we'll put the 13 on it, snug it down, and that'll be our 2 lines going into the inside portion of the AC system. From there, it'll be simply out here, plugging this up, getting that connection made, buttoning down our 10 millimeter over here once we get the bracket back around it, and then we'll be looking good on that accumulator install. All right, y'all, told you I was waiting on the new accumulator dryer to come in. Amazon just came in, delivered. Let's see if I can get this opened up. Hopefully you can see. I'm trying to do this one hand. Did go with a GM. That's going to be your part number for your GM accumulator. That's going to fit our application. Get this opened up. I want to show you the quick difference. For this is going to be your difference. The reason we had to change this is because this port right here comes off at a different angle. And this is the V6 one. This is our replacement. So we're going to go ahead and transfer over our switch to the new one. We knew this one was working properly. No issues with it whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and reuse that. I normally would replace it, but if it does go bad for some reason, it's easy enough to replace. So we're going to have to transfer that over. We'll get this thing up on the truck and start looking at our AC lines, make sure those all fit properly, and get those hooked up. All right, I went ahead and quickly disconnected that other line so I could pull the seal off, make sure I had another one. Basically, this is going to be your seal that goes to your accumulator. Hopefully that's focusing. It's just a little thing here. What I got is I got a whole package of new seals for the whole AC system. So some of the new hoses I got came with them. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I got these this matched up. See if you can see over here. We're matched up. Looks exactly like the same one. I'm going to go ahead and just very gently work that over there. Sorry about not putting at a good camera angle. Get that worked on there, get it seated. And like I said, being nice and gentle. Make sure I ain't got no burrs or anything in there. And we're going to take that and reinstall it back on the truck, again with that 13 millimeter nut. And this portion of it's going to be a wrap. All right, the next line we're going to put on is coming off your compressor, going to your upper portion of your condenser. This is your part number. Again, coming in right here. I had this paper stuck in there, so I didn't get any debris down in it, so I've already pulled that out. It has a brand new seal on it. We're going to put the snug that 13 down. Not get crazy with it. Just get it snug. We'll come back, check torque on that in a little bit. And then we're going to leave this cap on it until we get ready to put the condenser back in, which is going to be here real shortly. Reason I'm doing this now is because I've got really easy access to it. So why not do it while I got easy access to it? After this, I'll go ahead and get the belt put on it. That way, while I'm down here, I ain't got no radiator in the way. We'll get the belt put on. One more hose we got to do is going to be coming from the compressor, going up to the accumulator. I bought a new hose for that. That's going to be this hose right here. I could not find a GM one in a reasonable amount of time. So what this is going to do, again, this comes up like this and basically just routes over. And we'll get that buttoned up right there. That'll be besides hooking up the condenser, that'll be the remainder of our AC connection. Just one little quick side note. This new accumulator did not come with a stud in here. So we had to back it out of the original one using a 5 millimeter. We're going to install that stud back in there, make sure the seal's good, and send that one home, because that was kind of odd that it didn't come with that. I didn't realize that until we started to put the new line back on it, and it was not there anymore. But it snugs down. They at least allow you to be able to pull that out of there, and don't get crazy with it. Just snug it down, and we'll put that new line on it. See if we can get that going here. And nice Easy fit right there. We'll get our 13 millimeter back on it. Get that started. Snug it down. And that'll be it.